What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot to talk about here going on here in our country, including new payments going out to some states, some residents, and actually up to $3,000 for some people. We're also going to be talking about the student loan forgiveness here, which actually could be challenged. I'll show you here. Yeah, Republicans are readying lawsuits to block Biden's student debt plan. Yeah, remember that this is going to potentially help over 43 million Americans with $10 to $20,000 of debt relief, which is a really big amount of people, and it's a lot of money. But remember that the average cost of college right now can be $25 to $50,000 per year, and that's a lot of money. And for some of these people, I've seen in the comment section, some of these people are in their 40s or 50s now. People that have had this college debt for years and years and years. I've seen some people say that they started with $20,000 or $30,000 in college debt. Now they have $50,000 in college debt because of the interest, the amount of money that the interest has added on to this. Well, now Republicans are saying that they might challenge this in court, and it might go all the way to the Supreme Court. GOP attorney generals, top lawmakers, and conservative groups are discussing legal options, alleging the White House's move to cancel student debt is illegal. You can let me know your thoughts around this. You can also see here the Dallas Morning News. Ted Cruz explores ways to block President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness for over 43 million Americans. The Texas Republican acknowledges hurdle to court challenge as conservative Republicans mull lawsuits. Wow. Yeah, you can let me know your thoughts here on this. Republican state attorney generals and other leading conservatives are exploring a slew of potential lawsuits targeting President Biden's plans to cancel some student debt. Challenges that could limit or invalidate the policy before it even takes full effect. In recent days, a number of GOP attorneys general from states including Arizona, Missouri, and Texas have met privately to discuss a strategy that could see multiple cases filed in different courts around the country. According to a person familiar with the thinking, who, like others, spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe the confidential talks. Quote, "We're going through the analysis right now, not only in Arizona, but other states," said Attorney General Mark Brnovich. "You have a dangerous precedent. Anytime a president states they can unilaterally dismiss debt or transfer wealth from one group to another group, it's a huge power grab. The end can't justify the means." But remember here that if we go back to 2020, August of 2020, right before the 2020 election, former President Donald Trump's executive order guaranteed checks for $300 per week for 6 weeks, $1,800. And then if states chipped in an additional $100 per week, it was $2,400 for unemployment bonuses, stimulus checks, whatever you want to call it, for millions of Americans. So former President Donald Trump did this right before the 2020 election for millions of people with an executive order. Okay. So, as my father would say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, former President Donald Trump did an executive order that basically sent out billions of dollars for millions of people with an executive order. You can see here, back from this article of 2020, former President Donald Trump, who was the president at the time, signed an executive order to extend enhanced unemployment benefits at $400 per week, but aides clarify that it's actually $300 per week from the federal government, and that states could kick in an additional $100 per week if states wanted to fund an additional $100 per week. So you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I said back in 2020 that Democrats could challenge that in a court of law. But I said it would be, again, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I said it would be a mistake, I thought, for Democrats to challenge that and potentially take away thousands of dollars from millions of people who have lost their jobs right then during a pandemic. And again, that money didn't benefit me or anybody from my family. And I'll say the same thing now. I think it would be a mistake for Republicans to challenge the student loan forgiveness right now for 43 million Americans, because these are people that, if you read anything into student loans, these are people that the majority of these people, first of all, 87% of people make under $75,000 that are going to get this. The majority of these people pay on these for years and years and years and years. And if you take out $50,000 of student loan forgiveness, it's extreme, or $50,000 of student loans, it's extremely hard to pay this off. The $50,000, for example, just picking a number out of the sky, often will balloon into $75,000 or $100,000 when it comes to interest, okay, because of how long it takes to pay and the interest just snowballing over the years. It's extremely hard. And this is why we had a comment on one of our videos that the person's mom was a nurse, and she was 69 years old, I believe, and she was still paying on her student loans. And she has been serving the public for years and years and years. And they believe that their mom really deserved this because she's been serving the public as a nurse. She's 69 years old and still has student loans. She's 69 years old. This is the problem here, is it's extremely hard. And then there's so many people that like go to college and don't even get a degree. Maybe they go to college for 1, 2, 3 years, or maybe they get a degree and they don't actually get a job in that field. It's just really, really tough. Look at 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck or are in debt. How on earth are they going to pay off 10, 20, 30, $50,000, $100,000 of student loans if they're living paycheck to paycheck? It's just unbelievable. The average student loan is $5,000 per year. Some more, some less. And remember, the government has a ton of money right now. They paid down the national deficit, the national debt, by $1.7 trillion over the last like 12 months or so. Okay. So they're paying down the national debt right now by gobs and gobs of money. This is because of how many people have gone back to work right now. Unemployment's at a 50-year low. So, this is just kind of like the latest stimulus program. I mean, we've had unemployment bonuses, we've had student loan forgiveness, seeing as if it'll go through. We've had stimulus check 1, stimulus check 2, stimulus check 3. We've had food stamp and food assistance now that's been boosted. And a lot of states have been still doing it now for many, many months with extra assistance. There was a 25% permanent boost that has permanently been boosted. And we're going to have another conference here this September. And you look at all these different programs, paycheck protection program. A lot of Republicans that are criticizing this stuff are people that have gotten paycheck protection program, hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars of paycheck protection program forgiveness, where they literally just got it for free. Remember the White House tweet, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene and a lot of these Republicans that got hundreds of thousands of dollars of paycheck protection program forgiveness? I mean, it's like, kind of hypocrisy there, right? They're complaining about people who are going to get $10,000 of forgiveness. And remember, all this is, it's not, the government's not running a debt right now. They're paying down the debt. So, I mean, you can let me know your thoughts around this, but I'm just the type of person that like I congratulate my fellow man when they're getting help. I like to see my fellow man and woman when they're getting help. I want to see people getting help. I don't want to. I'm not mad when people are getting help. I want to see more and more people continue to get help. I want to continue to see this. You know, like 31 different states are passing out state stimulus checks and tax relief and tax reductions right now. I'm going to continue to see that happen. I want to see all 50 states do that. I want to continue to see that happen. And next year, I want to see it happen again. I want to continue to see more federal stimulus programs. And let you know what, let's jump into some of those right now. Here we go. The state of Virginia. The Virginia General Assembly has approved a tax rebate for eligible residents up to $500. Again, so good job, Virginia. I'm not from Virginia, but I want to see more and more states do this. I congratulate Virginia. Let's see more states doing this. We're seeing more and more states do this as the weeks go by. Virginia residents who filed their taxes before July 31st are likely to receive their tax rebates during September or October of this year. Virginia's doing it a little bit differently. It's kind of strange for Virginia, but it is what it is. Again, all states are kind of doing it differently. A resident's tax liability, which is the amount of taxes owed minus any credits throughout the year, will determine if they receive the one-time payment, which is totally confusing, but nonetheless, that's how Virginia wants to do it. Individual taxpayers will be eligible to get a payment worth up to $250, WJLA reported. Meanwhile, couples who file their taxes together can receive a payment worth up to $500. All rebates will be sent by October 17th. So all eligible Virginians should receive the cash by October 31st, which is kind of conflicting information there with the dates. But I will keep you up to date. Residents who think they may qualify for the tax rebate must file their taxes by November 1st if they haven't already, which is even more confusing. Well, I guess that makes sense because you would receive it by the 31st. But then, even then, if you file by then, you wouldn't really receive it by then. So I'll keep you up to date here with that, along with all these other different states here, right? The state of New York and federal programs as well. The state of New York has allocated $44.4 million in stimulus money for nutrition and back to school aid. Here, Governor Kathy Hochul. It says here the state of New York hasn't shied away from opening its coffers to help its needy citizens this year. They announced the release of a further $44.4 million in federal pandemic funds to aid back to school expenses and nutrition assistance. The Pandemic Emergency Assistance Fund was born out of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 with the goal of assisting struggling families from the pandemic. The distribution of these funds will be overseen by the New York's Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, OTDA, and are expected to help 218,000 children, according to the governor's website. They said, quote, hardworking New York families are still feeling the economic toll of the pandemic. As New Yorkers prepare to send their children back to school this fall, these one-time payments will help struggling families across the state pay for education supplies and other household expenses that may otherwise pose a burden on their household budget. This is yet another step we're taking to help lower the costs of living for hardworking families hit hardest by the pandemic. Due to begin immediately, the funding will provide New York families enrolled in public assistance programs with a one-time payment of $214 for each child aged 3 to 17 and $150 for each child younger than 3 years. So that seems pretty decent. And this would be in addition to like other stuff out there, right? So $214 for each child ages 3 to 17 and $150 for each child younger than 3 years. New York also has a massive program here. New York distributing bonuses to hands-on healthcare workers statewide. Who's eligible up to $3,000? That's a lot of money. Here's the details on this. New York is taking healthcare workers' retention into its own hands with a $3,000 payout to certain employees who stay at their posts for at least 6 months. Governor Kathy Hochul's office announced this week. Our bonus program is about more than just thanks. It's an investment into healthcare, and with it, we will retain, rebuild, and grow our healthcare workers and ensure we deliver the highest quality care for New Yorkers. But with a $1.3 billion program from the state's fiscal year budget, it authorizes bonuses to workers providing health on health care services. Employers must be receiving an annualized base salary of $125,000 or less, and it's caps at $3,000 per full-time employee. The state is also offering lower payouts to part-time workers to commensurate with the number of hours worked per week. For instance, $500 to those working between 20 and 30 hours per week. Employers will be responsible for submitting eligible employees for the payments via an online portal. The website is nysworkerbonus.com. nysworkerbonus.com. The website looks like this. New York also just had a multi-billion-dollar property tax homeowner rebate that went out to 2.5 million homeowners here in 2022 as well. This just recently went out, so this would have already gone out here. But this was up to, yeah, I think $400 here for homeowners as well, or $600 here. But yeah, this was for 2.5 million people in New York. So this gives you an idea of the type of state programs going on here right now. We have 31 different states here that have approved or stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, and tax reduction checks, some of which are still going out here, and hopefully we'll get even more and more going on here right now. Remember, there's $350 billion that states got from the last stimulus package. I don't think there's a single state that has used it all. And also because of unemployment right now at a 50-year low at 3.5%, every single state is bringing in a historic amount of money through state taxes, sales taxes, and money going into the states and also going into the federal government as well. So the federal government is taking in a ton of money as well. That's how they were able to pay down the $1.7 trillion of deficit and or federal debt. That's not the only money the federal government has as well. That's just a portion of their money. They're not going to use all their money to just pay down the debt, the federal debt. So there's really a lot of money flowing to the state governments and the federal governments right now. So we're going to have a lot of different things that could be done here. Remember, we just had the massive federal student loan debt program that was announced and signed via a executive order. So that is going through right now, as long as it doesn't get blocked. We've also had multiple other student loan debts that were just completely wiped out from schools that like were defrauded. They defrauded the people or closed on students as well. Their debts were completely wiped out because they literally just like closed on the people. You know, the schools just shut down, things like that. And we also could see the child tax credits enhanced. We could see a Social Security raise. We're going to see a big food stamp assistance meeting this month. So there's a lot of potential things here still going on. and I'll keep you up to date here on a daily basis. So make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon after you subscribe so you get notifications when we go live. Remember, new videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll keep you up to date. You can hit the like button for us down below to help support our channel. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to see my newest video on Social Security raises of $2,400. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.